Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
I am struggling for a happy Monday. I'm not going to lie. This weekend was really rough. I am glad to be back. I'm ready to work. So happy Monday, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mindset Monday, where independent patient advocates like us get together to start the week with positivity and inspiration. My name is Nicole Broadhurst. This is my co-host, Kayla Thompson-Riviere, and we have a special guest, Theo, in the background. How are you this morning, Miss Kayla?
Well, you know, had better mornings.
It seems to be, this is going to be a good topic, right? Last week, we talked about boundaries and self-care and all of these things. And during that conversation, microdosing came up. And so we told you we would be back this week to talk more about how to identify when we need some microdosing, as well as what is microdosing and how can we do it? Like, what does
Just to be
that
clear,
really
you're
look
talking
like?
about microdosing self-care.
Yes. Thank you.
Because when you just say microdosing by itself,
Yeah, right.
But hey, you know, there's value to that. There's research coming out, but that's just not what this conversation is about.
That's not what this is about. That's right. We're talking about self-care and what that might look like. So I did do a little, I have no idea who said this. I don't even know if anybody said it. I might have made it up. I don't know. That's why it says unknown. Small doses of self-care add up to resilience. Recognize when you need a moment, not a meltdown.
Right.
I love this. Kayla, you mentioned this microdosing of self-care. So I would love to hear, I've got some notes here for myself, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we even talk about the microdosing aspect of it, I really felt the need, because we've discussed self-care so many times, and it occurred to me, you know, we really should spend an episode about some of those practical strategies and what we really mean by that. Because, you know, we've talked about how it doesn't have to be a spa day and a professional massage. And if it is for you, that's great. But there are other, I would say more attainable things that honestly we should be doing to care for our flesh bag so that we can keep our mind in it in the way that we want. Nervous system regulation is so critical, especially when you step into business ownership. I think for a lot of people, myself included, that was really, between that and parenting, were really the catalyst to make me recognize that I needed to do some work. But the benefits don't stop there. This is a very all-encompassing, help you through life kind of toolbox here. Right. So if you go and Google, you know, practical strategies to strengthen the mind-body connection, you can get a ton of things. I put together a list that are my 6 kind of top categories to me, and some things you can do to start working them into your life. But this is by no means an all-inclusive list. So starting off, and I know that we've talked about this before, but radical hydration. The majority of Americans today, and I forget the exact number, but it's somewhere in the ballpark, like 80% of people are chronically dehydrated. And guys, every single cell in your body requires water. So if all of it is feeling like a raisin, you're not going to be able to perform at your best. You know, you think your neurons actually have to be within a certain proximity of each other to send those neurotransmitters. And when they're dehydrated, they get farther apart. That's just one example of how that dehydration really plays a role. Now, when I say radical hydration, I'm talking like several liters per day or quarts, however you want to go with that. And a lot of people struggle with that, especially if you're in a position right now where you don't drink a lot of water. One thing that I have stumbled upon in my journeys is from, I want to say friend. I feel like we're friends. We've never actually had a conversation together. It's like I don't know, influencer, but Alex Charfen. He is an incredible entrepreneur, and he actually hosts this water challenge for how to drink more water in 10 days. And I'm going to drop it in the comments. It's hosted at the website getthirstynow.com. And he's funny when he talks about it. He's like, yes, we know what the double entendre is. That's part of why we picked it. But I signed up for it, and they'll actually send you some tips and tricks and check-ins and remind you to keep you engaged with this. And it's interesting, if this is a new concept to you, I challenge you to explore some of his podcasts. He spends a couple of his podcasts talking about the effects that this water challenge has had on those around him. In particular, he had one lady who was working for him who was a type 2 diabetic. And she did the water challenge. It's something that he kind of doesn't require, but sort of expects of all new employees. And she loved it so much that she stuck with it. And she ended up over, I don't remember the length of time, a while, but she lost like 30 pounds and actually got off of insulin just by drinking enough water.
Right. So there's a lot of reasons that works. But you're right. I also did the hydration challenge. And as a result, like literally I drink over a gallon of water a day now. I mean, and I don't say that because, oh, good me, but kind of, right? Like you get into the habit. There's a whole idea of this when we drink. Anyway, it's really good. If you are even remotely interested, check out the website. Give it a shot. It is an amazing challenge, and it will help improve your daily life in some way, shape, or form. It will.
Yeah.
Hydration
absolutely.
is crazy good. Yeah.
But now, because I've gotten so in tune with my hydration, I joke that I'm like a delicate houseplant. And if I don't get my hydration, I really feel it. I feel it in my body. I feel it with a kind of brain fog and just fatigue. And it's interesting. And for a long time, I actually thought that maybe I was more hydration sensitive than others. But honestly, I think that I've been doing it for so long, and it really has strengthened that mind-body connection and helped me be in tune with my body, that I just pick up on those subtle signs a lot more than people who don't have that practice. So there's an incredible amount of power in water.
Absolutely. I'm trying to look here. I am kind of lost here on my screens, Kayla. So I'm kind of floundering. I'm not going to lie. Like that's what you see happening over here because I can't find notes.
The document.
Where things. Yes.
I just sent it to you.
And I just saw it. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
I know. We're not usually this scripted.
I know, right? There it is. Okay. All right. So I know. Okay. So some of these strategic things. Yes. I'm going to let Kayla kind of go through most of these. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that I kind of helped with was like, how do you know? Because I will tell you, historically, I am terrible at recognizing when I need a moment to prevent a meltdown. Okay. And so I know I can't be alone. I tend to I'm like a bull in a china shop. I just go and go and go and go and don't really recognize it. But I will tell you that I am getting better. And here are some things that I notice. My patience gets very, very small. Like if I'm getting agitated over like little things, it's time for me to take a moment to prevent the meltdown.
Yeah.
Right. And when we say take a moment, we literally just mean a moment.
Yeah. It's kind of like, do you remember those commercials, those Snickers commercials?
Yes.
Where people would be like so out of character cranky. It's like that, except that Snickers is not actually the solution.
Right. Exactly. Yes, that is right.
But it's a great example of recognizing the moment. Yeah.
It is. It is. And deep breaths help me too. Like literally
so
just
that's
stopping
so
and
the
breathing.
6 things I have on my list to talk about is the hydration, grounding practices, breath work, somatic awareness, movement, and nutrition. Do you want to come sit by me? Okay. And what I found for me is that I need to be incorporating these things in my day and practicing them when I'm not in that place of needing the moment. So that way, when I am in that place and my scope is narrowed, the tools are right there, and they start to become a more of the reflexive response because it's a practiced habit. If you wait until you need it, you're not going to be able to access it.
Right.
So that's part of my challenge to you this week, is to pick one of these things to start incorporating into your day, and then have grace with yourself. This stuff has taken me years.
Literally,
years.
right?
And I'm still working on it, and I still have moments that afterwards I'm like, well, I should have paused there.
Yep. Could have taken a breath right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's part of the process.
That's right.
Can you sit next to me now? Right. Okay.
So deep breathing. One of the things, breath work. We talked. Grounding practices. Guys, get outside. Like I can't get outside.
This doesn't have. It's not. This stuff is not. It's not hard. It's not technical. Like, don't overthink it.
Right.
Get outside and take off your socks and your shoes, which I am so grateful for, because I live in a rather rural area. So we have like a yard, and actually we have a field, and I can just literally walk right out my door and go be barefooted, and like I'm not afraid. He does it all the time, right? You go running around barefooted outside.
Yeah, well, sometimes I wear my shoes so I don't get splinters.
Yeah, he got a couple splinters, and he was like, maybe this isn't the best idea. So I wouldn't run around like that all day, but just going and being in the grass, in the ground. That's why they call it a grounding practice. And some of this stuff sounds so woo. Like, I definitely had that kind of reaction at first, but more and more research is coming out that there are truly physiological benefits.
Right.
And, you know, if we stop for a minute and actually think about like the evolution of human beings, that makes sense, because it's only been relatively recently that we have, by and large, kind of removed ourselves from the outdoor world. And guys, you can pull the Homo sapien out of nature, but you can't take the nature out of the Homo sapien.
Right.
You have got to bring yourself back into nature to put your body back into balance and alignment. There actually, I read a study recently, how like playing in the dirt, your skin actually absorbs like some of the nutrients or microbes. I don't entirely remember, but it actually helps to create some of the neurotransmitters that you need, like, to feel good.
Right. Yeah.
Like there is science to back up these things that a lot of people, and especially a lot of cultures, have known for millennia. So go try it out. Another thing grounding practices that's not specifically putting your feet in the ground is cold water therapy. This is why you see people doing ice baths, which you don't have to start there. That is quite a jump. If you're not doing that already, it's a huge shock to the system. And that's like kind of the point. So we do, as a family, every year on New Year's Day, we jump into the cold ass ocean, right? The ocean. Mm-hmm. And it takes your breath away, and it sends your adrenaline and your endorphins going, and you're done, and you're like, yeah, like you're so jacked, and you could just take on the world. Like it feels so good, not in the moment because it's cold, and like I don't like being cold, guys, but like you can really feel the impacts of it, like for quite a few hours.
And so I love that we're talking about this because my son, who is a runner and very, very, I'm going to just tell you, he's like super healthy. Like he is all about this. And he recently shared with me, he was like, yeah, I quit taking hot showers about 7 months ago. He was like, either lukewarm or cold. He was like, that really, and he was talking about all of the things that have happened and how much better he feels in his body since doing that. And I was like, wow, okay. So I share that to say that if you can't, like, don't, like, not right into ice bathing, right? Like, you know, like, let's be nice to ourselves. But that's what he said. He started just reducing the temperature of his shower over time, so that he finally got it to where he can take a cold shower, and it is very rejuvenating.
It is so much better for your skin too.
Yeah. Well, right. Oh, that's a whole.
And to take it an even further baby step, have your hot shower, and then before you get out, turn off the hot water and stand under it until you can't stand it, and then get out.
Right.
And for those who want to use this as a technique in the moment, obviously, you know, when something comes up, it's not always feasible to, stop, I'm going to go run and jump into an ice bath.
Right.
But how we can make this a baby step and also applicable in the moment is to take a washcloth of cold water and put it on your face, or put it on the back of your neck, or on your wrists, or run your hands under cold water. But something like that to help pull you out of that emotional. I mean, it's kind of jarring, right? And like that's the point. It also cold water, especially in, you know, some of those particular like pressure point areas, helps to stimulate the vagal nerve. So the vagus nerve runs from your brain all through your body. That's actually why it's called the vagus nerve, because vagus in, I think Latin, might be Greek, I think it's Latin, means the wanderer. And so it's like the longest nerve in the body, but it touches all different parts of our body because your body is all connected. One of the things that affects is our heart rate. So when you trigger the vagus nerve, you trigger a drop in heart rate, amongst other things. But that is part of the reason why that shocking stimulation helps to bring you out of that, you know, kind of maybe emotionally triggered state, and bring your mind back into your body and calm down your body.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So the next thing that we wanted to talk about, and this really is something we can implement right this minute, like this breathing technique and breathing, you know, like breath work. It's really interesting. You know how when you get really excited, and the first thing, or at least the first thing that I typically say to someone is, okay, I need you to breathe, right? I just need you to breathe. Like that's just breathe. And again, it kind of seems woo-woo, but it is so recentering to move out of the, I don't know what word I want to use, but move out of the chaos.
Heightened emotional state.
Yes. And recentering our bodies, our minds, and really getting much more de-escalating ourselves is kind of what I want to say, right? And I find this is like really my go-to. I use this. I probably can't tell you how many times a day. I'm just going to say, because as soon as I feel myself starting to, that's the other thing. I shared with you, my patience gets low. And so I know that I need to take a moment. The other thing that happens to me is very physical. My heart rate goes up and I start to breathe, like my breathing becomes much more shallow.
Right. And it's because your fight or flight is getting triggered and your body is releasing the stress hormones so that you can fight whatever is coming at you or run. So your heart rate is going up and you're breathing faster and you're gearing up to, to fight off the woolly mammoth that isn't there.
Really
there. Right.
Yeah.
And so breathing can help that. And that's
right.
That's why I say I use it lots.
Yes, it's you, as you should. It is one of our quickest tools to remind our primal lizard brain that no, we don't need to fight anything right now. Thank you for trying to protect me, but that is not helpful in this situation. We're good. Please calm back down and shut off that whole pathway. Another thing too is when you do that deep breathing, if this is something that is new to you, I encourage you to go do a little bit of a deeper dive on different breathing techniques because believe it or not, but the way that you breathe in, hold your breath and exhale, there's different patterns you can do. And some of them actually have different effects on the body. Like you can, one that we're going to talk about here is box breathing. So box breathing, you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So you can see how it kind of makes a box. However, if you are, and I didn't look this up, but there's different breathing patterns you can do that will actually make yourself more anxious, which makes sense because you may have noticed, like Nicole was saying, before you start taking control of your breath, your breathing can actually contribute to that fight or flight response. So dig into that a little bit, play around and see what works for you. What I was trying to say though is one of the other things when you get into that fight or flight response, your body starts to send blood to your heart, your lungs, and your limbs so that you can fight or run away. And it shunts blood flow away from your internal digestive organs. The opposite of fight or flight is actually rest and digest. And so when we move out of fight or flight, we move back to a place where we're calm and blood flow returns to those organs. So in addition to breathing, one of the things you can do to signal to your body that we are trying to rest and digest, let's go right back up to the top to water. It's putting 16 ounces of water into your stomach. Not only do you have to slow down your breathing to drink the water, but when you're intentionally sending something to your stomach, that signals to your body, oh, we're done with the fight. Let's bring the blood flow back here. Because nobody who is about to prepare to fight the woolly mammoth or run away from the jaguar is going to stop and drink water. So that is one of the ways that we help to tell our lizard brain, shut off, we're good here, go back to this other place.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so all right. So you guys, I have to say, I don't know a lot about this. I'm hoping Kayla can bring some more information on this next one around somatic awareness. Because I don't know about you, but on TikTok and Reels and everywhere I'm seeing this stuff about somatic yoga. In fact, my therapist said, you might want to try some somatic yoga but I'm not familiar with it. So I'm introducing the topic and then I'm turning it over to Kayla. Like, I don't know.
So I really just have a couple things to add here because this is not an area where I'm super well versed either. But one of I got 2 techniques that I wanted to bring to you here. And then I encourage you to dig into this for yourself. but one of them is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. So this is something that you again, you have to practice so that it is available in your toolbox when you need it. But when that heightened emotional thing is going on, and particularly, you got all of these chaotic noise running around in your head, and you start to tell the stories to yourself about all the people around you and yada, yada, yada. The 5-4-3-2-1 helps to bring your focus from your busy brain and back into your body and into the present moment. So the idea is that you find 5 things that you can see and count them and focus on them. 4 things that you can touch, feel. 3 things that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. And by doing all of that, it shifts. I mean, it's sort of a chore for a minute there. Like, you've got to find all those things. And it shifts the forefront of your thinking from whatever that probably negative thought loop or spiral was, and brings you back into, here I am right now in my body in this present moment. There is no threat here. Again, pushing us out of fight or flight and back into that rest and digest mode.
I love that. And so I'm supposed to give it a try. So I might do that. That might be my thing this week, because I know that's your challenge.
Yes. It's
and then something. Yes. And so then, okay, so we are getting down to the nitty gritty. The last ones are move and then nutrition, right, Kayla? So you guys know I'm a walker, and that has been a game changer here in my world. Literally. Not just health-wise, but like you said, like this connection between my mind and body. I have a lot of creative thoughts that happen when I'm out walking. And I've had some of my best connection calls have been while I've been on a walk. So I can't say enough that I think I combine a couple of these things. I like to walk outside. I'm not so much a treadmill walker. Like, that does not work for me. I mean, physically it works, right? Like, my legs work and I get the steps in and all of the things.
Right. But what you're illustrating right there is the significance that, like, just kind of essentially going through the motion is not the same thing as the full experience. Like, our bodies are meant to be outdoor. They are meant to be moving. To your point, we spent the bulk of our evolutionary life as hunter-gatherers on the move. And even after we stopped being hunter-gatherers, we were still the majority of us, very agricultural and gregarian. There's some word in there.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
Really, it's only been the last several generations that we have moved into this sedentary state, and that is not enough time for evolution to adapt. And so we know that being sedentary has a lot of poor health outcomes associated with it. But even more than that, if you think about a dog, like a really robust working dog, whatever that may be for you, a sheep dog, a pit bull. Right. But think about that dog that just wants to get out and run around and do work, and then you put him in a cage. How is that dog going to act? And how is that you think that dog is going to feel? And if you think that by sitting at a desk from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed is not having the same effect, albeit not as obvious, on your body, you are fooling yourself. We have to give our bodies some kind of an outlet for that drive that is innately inside of us. Now, granted, we don't need as much as a working dog.
Right.
But there is some kind of intuition there that movement is required.
Yes. And this is so true. This is so true. I love that you mentioned the working dogs, because I think that's something that we overlook as well. We get these worker dogs that need this extra activity. It's funny, I had a Staffordshire Terrier for several years, and I used to ride my bike and have him run with me. And my neighbors like got really upset. They thought that was not very nice of me to do to my dog. And I was like, my dog needs this. Like, if my dog doesn't do this, he's going to be a terror. What are you talking about? So I love that you brought that up, because I do think that, you know, there's a lot to be said in the parallels of we're meant to be moving. We're meant to be outside. I love that. All right. We are running out of time here, Kayla. Is there anything that we didn't catch?
The last thing we didn't mention was nutrition. Guys, if it comes out of a box or a package, it's not food. It's really that plain and simple. You can put it in your body. It's a food-like product. You will get something out of it. You won't be hungry anymore. You could probably eat a handful of rocks and still not be hungry anymore. So that in of itself does not. Was that funny? Don't eat rocks.
Yeah, please don't eat rocks.
But truly, we have like food has gotten so hijacked nowadays, and they like the tobacco company. For those who don't know, when they started cracking down on the tobacco companies in like the 70s, 80s, something like that. They weren't about to go out of business, and they took those brainstormers who made tobacco so addictive and they sent them over to Nabisco. Okay. And that's why you can't just eat one damn Oreo and you eat the whole pack. They are literally engineering this stuff to be as addictive as possible and as cheap as possible. And that has an incredible amount of downstream effects. The high fructose corn syrup. Oh my God. There's a book out. I've been telling everybody about it. It's called The Lies I Taught in Medical School. It is a physician who wrote it. He just put it out last year because he followed mainstream medical advice with like a low fat diet. He followed, his mom was a registered dietitian. He did all the things right and hit 40 and was pre-diabetic and had high blood pressure and cholesterol. And he was pissed because he's like, he'd been following the rules to the T. Well, it turns out a lot of them aren't actually based on good research. And so he starts digging into the research. And instead of, I've heard before different philosophies or kind of anecdotes about like, well, I do this in my practice and this is what I've seen for my patients. And that's nice, but he actually gets down to like the biological chemical reasons these things are happening and then why he recommends the things that he recommends. And I don't know if this resonates with you, but for me, when there's a damn good reason, I am a whole lot more likely to be on board with, committing. Like, I want to know why. And if I don't know why, then it just doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. I got it. Yeah. All right. So call to action, because we're over time. So what's our call to action?
So pick one of these 6 things, the one that speaks out to you the most, to start figuring out how to take the small steps to implement it in your life. Make it part of your daily routine, because you got to put it in the toolbox before you need to open the toolbox. And once that feels easy, add another one. If there's something you're doing that's not on the list, share it with us in the circle. We'd love to hear about it. There's a lot of things. We made a short list. And if you try out some of these, let us know how they work for you.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I know we ran a little bit long and it looks like everybody hung out. So this was a good one. We will be back next week with another batch of inspiration and positivity for independent patient advocates. In the meantime, go have a great week and take care of yourselves. We look forward to hearing how you're implementing, what your implementation is. Thanks so much. Have a great day.